tip my hat to Mississippi State. It's a good team, and they had some power arms, dynamic arms, and that program's been through a lot this season, and I thought Justin led that group to get them here. And Jake's been there a long time, and so has Aaron, and the way they dealt with a challenging situation and the way they played, they clearly led that program in a positive direction in difficult times. And I do commend that, and I thought that was a really good team. Talented, versatile, dangerous, clearly all we could handle. We were fortunate to win this. There was a point of emphasis that we were instructed to make sure we adhered to in terms of unsportsmanlike activities and conduct, and there are reasons that was put in place. There are times throughout the course of this season you saw the emotions and the outbursts and the language and the home runs get beyond, over the top, and that was appropriate. And I felt like what happened, we were not adhering to the point of emphasis, and that was what got me. And I wanted to stand up for our guys, and I did not intend to take it to that point, but that's where it escalated to. And I'm proud of the way our assistant coaches took over and led it, and these guys found a way to come back and grind. And we were down from pitch one, and they performed and delivered the result. It wasn't easy. They accumulated a lot of punch outs. They chewed through us a little bit, but the timeliness of this, and Miles had the double, and then Fisher's home run. You stack some stuff together, and we've sat in here and talked about when you stack and when you don't. Well, in this regional, we stack some stuff, and that sometimes is enough when you pitch the way we pitched. I thought the bullpen guys from game one got better, and Joe was sharp, and you're not going to hold teams like this at bay unless you get good starts and you have quality execution on the backside of the game. And our defense was impressive the whole time. The bunt play, Fisher making that nice play on the bunt to get the lead out, huge part of the game. So I think we defended pretty well all weekend, which we've seen our team do for the better part of the year. But hard to be in this position. When we opened this press conference series, I told you how hard it is to host these tournaments, and there's 16 of them, and to have one of them is really tough. And I feel like we owe it to our fans. These are the best fans in the country. Nobody's more engaged. The animals add an amazing dynamic to what's going on at this stadium, and I feel that I owe it to the fans here to deliver this sort of tournament. And then you feel the pressure of knowing you should deliver and win it, and it's not easy. So it's not easy to get to this point, and it's clearly challenging to come out on the top of it after a long weekend.
Take questions, please.
When coming into the year, you talked about this group is built on the pitching and the defense. Just I think you guys only got up 7 runs this weekend. Just to see the run prevention unit come through like that, just I guess how rewarding is that for the way you guys built this roster?
Yeah, you're trying to build based on your recruiting and what you're able to acquire and put in the program. And then you have to try to coach within the confines of what the skill set of the team is. And you can throw it out there and look and see how athletic we are, and you hope that then trends to some sort of offensive creativity. And I think the power production has probably exceeded some expectations. These guys have hit a bunch of home runs. I haven't gone through a season that I can recall as a head or assistant coach with 3 starting pitchers that performed from the first weekend till this one. And there's other guys here very capable of starting, but these 3 were the ones that seemed to put us in the right direction and gave us plenty of options in leverage moments. And you hear me talk about leverage relief. Every outing in this was a leverage relief outing. It's not who closes and sets up for me. It's coming in with your A stuff and recording outs. The strikeouts are big. It eliminates anything that can go wrong for you defensively, and I thought we showed that as a pitching staff too. Micah calls a great game. He knows these guys inside and out. He's got great relationships with them. He develops them. then you have to navigate it based on who's on the mound and then clearly at times what you see with the hitter. But it really starts with knowing your personnel, and he's great with that. The developmental side of it, the scouting report side of it, and the execution in game, great.
Wes, it was a wild night, the crowd was going crazy. Were you riding that emotion, or were you trying to kind of block it out and focus on the job?
Honestly, trying to block it out. I tend to get a little, out of myself, I guess, sometimes, just get a little crazy. So just take it pitch by pitch. It's easy. It's easy when you have Coach Micah calling the pitches, and you have Jax behind the plate, and you have that defense behind you. It's really easy just to go after them, really. And so just trying to stay locked in.
Wes, just tell me how you answer back after the giving up a home run on the first pitch, just not continuing around like
Yeah, for sure. It's unlucky, really. Like, you jump the first pitch fastball, it happens. You kind of just got to flush it. You can't really do much about it and just move past it right away.
Max, it seemed like you were kind of 0-2 every at-bat these last two nights, and then bases loaded, you're 0-2 again. What's your approach there? And then, it's a dumb question, poorly worded, but how did it feel watching that thing get in the right field and score 2 runs?
Yeah, my approach, the 0-1, I was on the heater up, so I had a pretty good feeling that they were going to lean on some off speed, especially I was pretty early on the first splitter he threw. And then, seeing it go through, that's the best feeling I've ever had in my life. To be able to deliver for our fans, the best coach in the country, you saw what he did for us. To be able to do that for Coach and our teammates, even when I was going through it early, I had some really poor at-bats early, and every single one of our coaches came up to me and they're like, you're going to win this game for us later. All the guys on the bench are telling me, you're our guy, you're going to do it for us. So that just shows, the type of team we are and the type of unit we are. So to be able to do that for our team, it meant so much.
For both the players, I think it's pretty crazy to see a coach thrown out in the second inning. It seemed like that kind of immediately upped the emotion, the intensity of the game. We saw it like a fire under you right away, Wes. How for both of you, how much did that light a fire into the team? It didn't show up right away in production, but eventually kind of did.
Yeah, no, definitely. It lit a fire, I would say. I didn't really know what happened, so I was just kind of didn't really know. But yeah, it definitely lit a fire. Got the crowd going, so it was good.
To see your head coach get ejected, if that doesn't fire you up, then there's something wrong with you. We love Coach so much, and all we want to do is perform for him. So to see him do that for us, it meant so much.
Can you describe the emotions of watching the game from a year where I would imagine it might be helpless, but you also coached these guys for 50-something games in 3 years. So was there a confidence about how they would handle it too, or what was it?
Tremendous confidence. And my emotions probably went a little too far. I didn't necessarily feel it in the moment. Maybe I did. I was so upset about it. It took me 2 or 3 innings to calm down. And then you feel guilt because if this doesn't go right, I can't tell you how I felt for until we seemed like we had a crack at it. You feel guilty because I'm not there, and things are out of rhythm because people that do certain jobs are no longer, I wasn't there to do it. So it sends things into a different direction, and we hadn't been in that position. I don't think I was ejected. Maybe not have gotten ejected last year. So I don't think this staff, I'm usually good for 1 a year. This staff had not been through that. So I felt tremendous guilt in there for the better part of that game. I really did. It was an awkward feeling for these guys. Like if I did something that impacted their ability to win this game and then looked at tomorrow, the feeling of thinking you might have to come back here tomorrow and did I do something to impact it, that's you feel guilty. And then watching them chip away and battle back and create that big inning and capitalize on it, and then Miles capitalize it, it's an amazing feeling. And I saw some things watching it that I don't normally see unless I go back and watch some of the video, obviously. So these guys are tough. They know what they're doing. It really, nothing changed because I wasn't out there. And that's what you think's going to happen, but there was an hour and a half of I felt very guilty because it wasn't going our way, and if we had to come back and play and that impacted our ability to win the game tomorrow, that would have been tough to stomach.
Link, not all outs are created equal. With the bases loaded, Cal Fisher has, I thought, one of his best bats of the season. It just hits a rocket right up the middle to that kid. But then how much can that carry over to your next two at-bats? I think he had a single to right center, and then his next at-bat after that's the home run to tie the game.
Well, you could tell in that at-bat he was seeing the ball. The pitch decisions and the adjustability throughout the pitch was really good. You could tell he was feeling it. And he's kind of an expressive player, and you could tell he was on it. And he just missed that fastball. I think it was a fastball to right field last night with the bases loaded, maybe, that kind of the fly out up against the wall. And he got that one pretty good. And the ball was up a little bit. And from a mechanical standpoint, it was fun for me to, in real time, almost watch how he made an attempt to try to plane out with that thing and get on top of it a little bit. And that allowed him to barrel it. He played a really good series. Some nice defensive plays. The bunt play was huge. And those at-bats were outstanding.
Wes, and then Link, I'd love your thoughts too. Wes, I have to imagine this is the most innings you've ever thrown in a single season by this point. I don't know exactly where you're at, but it feels like the last 4 or 5 times out, you've really found something and maybe been in your best form of the season down the stretch. What do you think when you've thrown so many innings, when you've got kind of so much mileage on the arm right now, has allowed you to find that? I guess Link, your perspective as well.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I get better as I go on. You know, the fall, spring, it's kind of it's a fast ramp up, I'd say. Like, I had a good start, but kind of lost a little bit, I'd say, in some ACC play. And these last couple weeks, it's just finding myself, you know, just at the end of the year, gaining velo back. It's just all coming together at the right time.
Well, he's a great athlete, and that's part of the reason we were so excited to get him here. And I think when he's aggressive and stays dynamic with all of it, it's a complete package. And you look at the last few outings, the strikeout total has mounted a little bit. And we can talk about pitching to contact and the strikeout's not what they're trying to do, but there are times when the strikeout is what you're trying to do. Like, there's times when you need it and you get to 2 strikes and you have to do it. But you have to make quality pitches to put yourself in position to be in 2-strike counts. He's physically strong, he's athletic. We knew that. I think Micah has taken him and started to mold him. And, you know, this time next year, the conversation we're having will be really fun. The strength and conditioning with Jamie Burleson and the training room with Phil Montano and what these guys, the pitching side, maybe more than these guys. There's so much that goes into the arm preparation and arm care and what he's going to do after this press conference and what he'll do tomorrow. So it's the whole body of work that I think has allowed him to move along. And the position guys have responsibilities too, but I think the pitching is clearly, there's another notch on what they have to do. And we wanted to see this progression, and it's fun to watch it play out.
Coach, with Super Regionals next weekend, there's a lot riding on these games in Corvallis tonight and potentially tomorrow. How much scoreboard watching goes on during a weekend like this?
You know what? Sometimes when I'm looking at it, I feel like I'm coaching it, and I take a breather. So my wife will relay. She's over there relaying. Oh, look at this score. Look at this. She was scrolling home the whole night last night. I'm like, hey, can we just play some music for 15 minutes and just enjoy this? So now, from a scouting perspective, I enjoy that part. But to freelance watch all this and watch the scoreboard and stuff, I feel like sometimes you kind of stay in your lane a little bit and let them duke it out for tonight.
Wes, it seems like early on you had the change-up involved a bit more than so far this year. Just when you have all 4 pitches going, just how much confidence does that give you?
Yeah, definitely a ton of confidence. You know, I mean, I really just have confidence in Micah, honestly. Like, he calls every pitch. I don't really shake him off, honestly. He has the scouting report. He knows what I need to do and when I need to do it, and I just trust him and Jax and my defense, and it just works out.
Link, I don't know if you're talking about watching the other scores, not just that regional, but it's been a pretty wild tournament so far. What does that say? I mean, a lot of people assume a 1 seed is going to advance, but just what does it say about how you guys have played to get through a 3-0 when you see what's happening in tournaments?
I've told you guys I don't think college baseball has ever been played at a higher level. So the teams that are in the field have clearly separated themselves, and then you throw in there how talented these players are. And it is tough. I don't care 1 seed or 4 or it's tough. And if you don't have it for a game or something doesn't go your way in an inning, that could be the end of it. So you have to click on all cylinders, and if you get some breaks, great, but you don't always get breaks. So you have to find ways to create and manage and evade and pitch and defend and quality of at bat, or you will not make it through this. And I don't think the game at this level has ever been better. These guys have the ability to transfer. Look at who's sitting beside me. So the teams, when you construct properly, like you might see not only more talented players, but better teams because there has been movement. And we spend a lot of time on roster construction and management and personnel and what fits and what doesn't. So I think it's harder than it once was. I really do. And the draft being half of what it was, there's more players that get to campus, and that, again, escalates the caliber of play overall and makes it harder.
With Miles, obviously, he's been playing well as of late, especially. If you had a freshman that's made that jump the last 6 to 8 weeks with the mental side of the game the way that Miles has. And then part 2 question, Jackson West had a couple of big blocks defensively. He's taken some heat this season on social media and all the different outlets. Can you talk about how much he's meant to what you guys are trying to do, especially in postseason?
Well, Jax has a certain way about him and energy, and I think it adds a dimension to the game. I thought Brad works so hard with the catchers, and I thought his receiving, since he's been here, has gotten a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. The ability to steal some close pitches. The blocking has gotten better. Accuracy, good. But he finds ways on base. He's a tough out. He saw 28 pitches in the game last night, 28 pitches. Gage saw 26, Chase saw 26, and he saw 28 pitches last night. So when you do that, eventually something positive is going to happen. And he's been through this before. I don't know that we're in the College World Series or had some success in it without him last year, and I remember that. So people may not agree, and I have to do what I think is best at the time, and he finds ways on base, and if we can flip that thing over, if he's hitting 8 or 9, we have competitive guys at the top that need options other than nobody on base, and let's try to figure it out. So he adds that. The on-base percentage and the walk-to-strikeout ratio is really pretty good. I know the batting average, there's more to be had there, and I know he's fighting through it, but at the end of the day, he's finding ways on base. He's doing a really good job catching. He's energetic, and the guys like throwing to him.
Max, two years here for you, 2 trips to Super Regionals now. I guess what you take in kind of like what's it mean? I mean, I think it's first kind of better part of a decade that you'll be one of the last 16 teams for 2 years in a row.
I mean, yeah, I think that's just kind of been the standard since I've been here. We had a meeting with our pastor today, Clint, and he's always talking about how we finished the mission, and talking about finishing the mission is us winning the whole thing. So we all just want to fight for each other and truly look at each other at the end and say we made it.
Any more questions tonight? Florida State, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.